It is part of the sunnah to follow the to follow the funeral to the graveyard. And the Prophet ﷺ told us about the qirat, as we mentioned in the previous lesson, when you pray, and the other qirat when you follow it until it is buried. And also we spoke about the sunnah in burying it as soon as possible. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, hasten to take the deceased to the grave. For if he was good, then it's something good to which you are taking him. And if he was otherwise, then it's something bad of which you are ridding yourselves. So this is part of the sunnah that people should hasten to follow. And if any of us knew about someone's death among our brothers or sisters, then the sunnah is to attend their funeral and their burial. The Prophet said, alayhi salam, the rights that a Muslim has over his fellow Muslim are 5. He should return his greetings of salam, visit him when he's sick, and attend his funeral, among others. So this is part of the sunnah. As for carrying the deceased to his burial place and accompanying it, this is only, of course, for men. How should we follow the deceased in his funeral? Should we have a musical band? Should we have a parade? No, all of this is not from Islam. Those carrying it must be accompanied with calm, and they should be dignified. And they should not raise their voices as some ignorance may do. Wahidu, la ilaha illallah, and they keep on offering salutation, shouting with it, or saying la ilaha illallah repeatedly. All of this is not part of the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr and Umar used to walk ahead of the carried funeral. But if one wants to follow it or be on the sides, there is no problem in that, insha'Allah. Scholars say that part of the sunnah, when you see a funeral walking by in front of you, that you stand up and not sit until it is placed on the ground to be buried. This is part of the sunnah that we should do to the best of our ability. Now, when it comes to the grave itself, the grave must be dug deep and it should be wide. Because the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, dig the grave, make it wide, and make it good. And the sunnah as well is when we place the deceased in his grave, that we place the deceased facing the Qibla and lying on his right hand side. And this is done when we put the deceased in the grave. He would be facing the inner wall of the grave, and he would be facing the Qibla. All deceased, wherever you go in this globe, in this earth, they're all facing the Qibla, lying on the right hand side with a brick underneath their head as if it's a pillow, and with something supporting their back so that they would not fall on their back. Of course, their face is to the inner wall of the grave. And afterwards, this should be also sealed and covered so that we could bury the deceased. How do we seal it? We seal it with clay or with mud so that it would be fixed and secured. This is done usually before leaving the grave. Afterwards, we do put the soil back into the grave. Now, if we dug the grave to bury the deceased, the size of the body would occupy a certain vacuum in the grave. So when we put the sand back again, the grave would be a bit elevated from the ground. And this elevation is due to the fact that we had consumed some of the space with the body of the deceased. Now, the surface of the grave should be raised a handspan above the ground, and this is caused by the soil that we've dug and the size that was occupied by the body. Not that we bring an extra amount of dirt and soil to be put on the grave. There's no need for that. So once we bury the body and we put the sand back again, it would be raised like a handspan above the ground. And as I said, this would be, the grave would be blocked from inside with bricks and mud until it is completely sealed.